Hi, everyone. Welcome to Michelle and the Money. This is all about your money from consumer to business news in the bi-state. Let's start with an update on travel because earlier this week, the FAA lifted its emergency order to cut flights because of the government shutdown. Now, this comes as a pretty big relief to travelers before the busy Thanksgiving travel period.
Thank goodness it happened before the holidays because we all deserve good getaways and a smooth transition from here to family and back again.
This year, the airports and the roads are expected to be busier than ever as a record amount of people travel to their Thanksgiving celebration. So between November 25th and December 1st, AAA predicts nearly 82 million people will travel at least 50 miles from home. An estimated 6 million will fly, and 73 million are expected to travel by car. AAA offers this advice on what time to actually hit the road.
Anytime after lunchtime is when you're going to really see that traffic building, especially on the interstates at major metros.
Now, AAA says road traffic will be the lightest on Thanksgiving Day, something to keep in mind there. The Better Business Bureau is helping travelers watch out for scams ahead of the busy travel season. They say scammers will try and send fake cancellation emails to make you pay them for a fake new ticket. Well, don't believe it. They advise people to check the email address and call the airline to verify. The Better Business Bureau also says people should use their phone's hotspot for Wi-Fi instead of an airport's Wi-Fi because, some fraudsters can monitor devices connected to it. Well, right now, showing your ID is going to get a lot easier for Illinois residents. Apple iPhone users will be able to add their driver's license or state ID to their Apple Wallet. The Illinois Secretary of State says it's all done through your Apple ID with security encryption already built into your iPhone.
This isn't just cool technology, it's trusted, secure, and private technology. Only the information needed for a transaction is presented, and you have the opportunity to review and authorize the information being requested with Face ID or Touch ID before it is shared.
Now, here are a couple of important reminders for Illinois residents. First of all, the digital IDs are only for Apple users. Samsung and Google devices will be added early in 2026. And also, we should mention, as this is rolling out, the state wants you to be patient because we've already seen that the system has been overloaded. So in a statement, the Illinois Secretary of State's office said Apple has established a virtual queuing system to notify people when they can add their driver's license or state ID to their Apple Wallet. So just a reminder again, you will still need to keep your physical ID on you, especially if you get pulled over by police or go to the airport. More than 3,000 Boeing machinists returned to work this week after a months-long strike. Union members approved a 5-year contract last Thursday. It ended a 101-day-long strike over better pay and benefits. The new contract includes a $6,000 ratification bonus and a 24% wage increase. We are learning more about the St. Louis County Senior Property Tax Freeze program. Now, we've covered this program a lot over the past year. According to St. Louis County, residents who were approved for this program have saved about $30 million. Now, with the freeze, school districts will see the largest revenue loss in 2026, with Rockwood losing $4 million and Parkway losing $2.7 million. Applications for the second year of the program are now open and seniors can apply online. We are just days away now from sports betting going live in the Show Me State. Although Missourians cannot officially place bets until December 1st, they can now pre-register for online sports books. Missouri voters legalized sports betting by a narrow margin last November. It is expected to generate more than $3 billion in its first year. Now, over in Illinois, sports betting is actually on the decline because of a new tax on wagers. Our partners at the St. Louis Business Journal report the state saw a 15% drop in September sports betting just this year. Illinois imposes a 25-cent privilege tax on wagering licenses for each online bet for up to 20 million bets and 50 cents on each bet after that. The operators can then pass that cost on to the bettors. September was the first full month of betting since the tax was implemented. It's usually a busy month with the start of football and playoff baseball, but state betting officials warned that the tax could push consumers to the illegal sports betting market. Stay tuned for more information. All right, a warning now about new technology that could leave you a victim of a pretty brazen robbery. Police say thieves are using a tablet that is meant for locksmiths. It can actually reprogram the computer in newer cars. Thieves are using antennas to pick up signals from key fobs inside homes.
Once they pick up that signal, they send it to somebody standing by the car, opens the car right up, gets in, pushes the start button, and off they go.
Police are suggesting not to leave your keys near the door or putting your key fob in a special bag that can block signals. They say low-tech tools like a steering wheel club also work. St. Louis Children's Hospital plans to build a 134,000 square foot pediatric outpatient center in Wentzville. Now, according to our partners at the Business Journal, BJC has filed a zoning application for that site at Wentzville Parkway and Highway 61. The center will serve infants through teens with physicians from Children's Hospital and also specialists from WashU Medicine. The campus will have gardens and sculptures and will be the hospital's third regional location, joining centers in West and South counties. Ballpark Village has one less store to go to these days. Arch Apparel has now shuttered its last brick and mortar store, becoming the latest downtown business to close. The owner, Aaron Parks, told our partners at the Business Journal that he was considering bankruptcy, calling his move to Ballpark Village the, quote, worst decision of his life. He partly blames low attendance at Cardinals games, bringing less foot traffic. Arch Apparel will continue to sell its St. Louis streetwear online. And a popular restaurant, an Italian restaurant in Ferguson, is also getting ready to close after 25 years. The owners of Vincenzo's will officially close on November 26th. That restaurant has operated on South Florissant next to the Ferguson Police Department since 2002. A new restaurant under new management is expected to open in that space coming in February. A once popular after-work spot is also closing its final location in St. Louis. TGI Fridays is closing its St. Charles location on First Capitol. The chain, which filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy, closed its Fairview Heights and South County locations earlier this year. Now, we have a warning about buying fake drugs online. A man convicted of selling fake Xanax on the dark web will now spend the next 54 months in prison. Prosecutors say John Cruz kept selling the pills even after his indictment in federal court in St. Louis. DEA agents say the pills contain fentanyl, which can be deadly.
And we're seeing so many different substances put in these pills, whether it's fentanyl, and we've seen a recent uptick in pills that we've seized in St. Louis and across the United States that also contain methamphetamine and other harmful substances.
The DEA says this case should serve as a reminder that prescription medications should only be filled by a licensed pharmacist, not bought online from unknown or unreliable sources. A new report that shows that it costs more to maintain a home. The hidden costs of owning a home have actually climbed to nearly $16,000 a year nationwide, rising faster than household incomes. This study is from Zillow and Thumbtack, and it estimates that homeowners spend more than $1,300 a month on expenses outside of their mortgage. Things like HVAC, lawn care, gutter cleaning, and tree trimming. The most expensive cities were on the East Coast. Home Depot is announcing a slowdown in sales, giving insight into the economy. Home Depot fell short of third quarter earnings estimates for its third straight miss. It could also saying it could cut its full year profit outlook as well. So Home Depot is often seen kind of as a bellwether for consumers in the housing market. The company says more cautious shoppers and a nearly frozen housing market are really driving this slowdown. Well, when it comes to this year's hot holiday toys, shoppers are finding higher price tags and lower inventory. Jen Sullivan dives into the impacts of tariffs and explains why you shouldn't wait until Black Friday to spend.
The holiday shopping season has already begun, but the prices of many items may have you feeling much less jolly this year, especially when it comes to toys.
I don't think we're going to see very big sales this year.
Toy expert Chris Byrne warns shoppers shouldn't wait until Black Friday to buy toys because it's unlikely they'll go on sale and the inventory may be low.
Tariffs did disrupt the entire industry, and people paused shipping earlier in the year. If you see something, buy it.
It's unclear exactly how much tariffs will hurt, but experts expect the prices to increase. Here's why. Roughly 80% of all toys sold in the U.S. are manufactured in China, according to the Toy Association. And Chinese imports have been hit hard with tariffs. The Trump administration implemented the added tax on imports to generate more revenue and encourage companies to make items in the U.S.
We are seeing that toys are one of those categories that are being impacted more heavily by tariffs.
Catherine Cullen with the National Retail Federation says despite tariffs, shoppers are still spending. They recently conducted a survey and found consumers plan to spend roughly $890 per person this year. And families with kids aren't holding back.
They're actually one of the only groups that we saw say they're spending more.
Cullen says families with kids are spending about $30 more. And when it comes to budgeting, Byrne recommends shopping around for the best price and has this advice.
You don't need to overwhelm kids with presents. A few things that they're going to really enjoy and play with, and especially things to share among the family.
For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
All right, and shoppers in the meantime will have extra time to return holiday gifts this year. Amazon will expand its return window to make buying online, it says, as seamless and worry-free as possible. For most items purchased through December 31st, returns will be accepted through January 31st, 2026. Products must be in the original box or unused condition. There are some exceptions, though. Some items, like Apple-branded products, can only be returned through January 15th. Well, listen to this. A Florida woman is filing a lawsuit against Costco, claiming that its tequila line falsely advertises itself as 100% agave. The lawsuit says testing revealed it contains alcohol not derived from blue agave plants. Higher concentrations of agave usually means a more expensive tequila. Well, the lawsuit alleges false advertising and overpricing. Also, a lawsuit with YouTube could have you getting a payout. Google and YouTube has agreed to pay $30 million to settle a class action lawsuit alleging the companies illegally collected data from kids younger than 13 without parental permission. So to see how to apply, you can go to ksdk.com and search under the Money tab. Also, DoorDash says some of its users' data was breached after an employee was scammed by hackers. The company, in a blog post, says personal information of users, including names, phone numbers, emails, and physical addresses, was all accessed. So the company says the hackers did not get any access to sensitive data like Social Security numbers. And you know this already, but Thanksgiving is just days away and everyone is trying to get that meal as cheap as possible. Many retailers have been able to bring down the cost to about $4 a person. So I spent some time with Amy McCormick from Ruler Foods to look at the other way shoppers are trying to save money.
We brought our Thanksgiving meal bundle. You can come to the store, get all of this, and feed a family of 10 for under $4 a person.
That's what I was going to ask. Can you really do it? So is it all of this?
Everything here. So the center of the plate typically at Thanksgiving is the turkey, right? I encourage consumers, when you're looking at your turkey prices, look for those hidden amounts you might have to spend to get the deal. You know, at Ruler, our turkeys right now are 49 cents, no gimmick, like you don't have to spend anything, no hoops to jump through, right? So I definitely encourage people to look at that. The other way you can save on a holiday meal is looking at store brands. Store brands are going to save you money. You know, green bean casserole fixings here. You know, you look at the Kroger. We're part of the Kroger family of companies, so our brand is Kroger. But you could do the Campbell's. This is on sale for $1, 10 for 10, but 69 cents for the store brand.
Yeah, so I was gonna ask you. We have seen a lot of, headlines about just the rise of store brands this year specifically. And is that what you're seeing too?
Yes, consumers are wanting to save money. You know, they're looking for ways to cut their budget. And so take a chance on store brands. If no, I have to have that national brand. We carry that at a great price, but I definitely encourage people to try it. We have a guarantee. You try it, you like it, you bring it back, we'll figure it out for you, right?
Hey, that's actually
a win-win, right?
That's actually great.
Yes.
I had no idea that you could do that.
Absolutely.
Well, and especially if you're doing something like a casserole or a dessert, a lot of times you don't know the difference. Now, if you really say, okay, I love Campbell's, which you brought here. Okay, there are some people who really love brands, totally get it. But now might be a good time to buy some brands too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing I encourage people to do is look at fresh versus canned or frozen. You know, you think about green beans. We talked about the green bean casserole or the cranberries. So, cranberries versus the canned version, right? You can look at those prices, and a lot of times you'll find the canned or the frozen is more economical. Now, a lot of people during holidays, they want to splurge a little, they want to do the fresh, but then you have the waste as well. So you want to think that through.
Can people right now stack deals?
Yes. So we're known at Ruler for our low prices. When you're shopping, another tip I really want people to take into consideration are apps. A lot of retailers will offer additional digital coupons. We just launched our app this week. So every week, every week at Ruler, you're able to get over $75 in additional savings from the app, and that can be stacked on top of any offers that we have in the store.
Okay. And I have seen a lot of people saying, okay, $40 is kind of that key, you're seeing it from other retailers too. So I'm just wondering, what can you get or what can you make for 10 people at $4 a piece?
So for this meal, we have the mac and cheese. We're going the easy route with the box. There's 3 boxes of that. We have the traditional, it's the 70th anniversary of the green bean casserole. So 3 cans of green beans, the fried onions, we have the cream of mushroom soup, corn, mashed potatoes. Who doesn't love some mashed potatoes? We have our brown and serve rolls, our turkey dressing, our gravy packets, and then we have to have dessert, right? So we have our pumpkin, our evaporated milk to make that, and then our pie crusts.
I think this is brilliant because really what it amounts to is that you start thinking, okay, I'm going to do this for $40, but then I buy this and I buy this and buy that, and by the time you're in it, you're $200 in, and the reality is this is a pretty good meal.
It is, and so a tip: make a list. Look at circulars, look at the apps, make the list prior to going. And I try really hard. I don't always do it, but I try to eat before I shop. Right? That keeps me within my budget, so I'm not throwing some of that extra in the cart, even though we're okay if you do that, right? But the ideal of the meal. This is just our example, but everyone has different traditions, different meals that they make during the Thanksgiving and upcoming holidays. So we just encourage you, make that list. And if you don't want to shop or you want to save on fuel, I also encourage you to think about delivery. You can go to the website, you can go to our app, click on delivery. Our delivery is powered by Instacart. You can order all of this online and we'll bring it to your house in as little as 30 minutes.
Okay, and is that free? Or I guess you have to have an
free.
Okay.
Yeah, well for us, we're offering free delivery on orders of over $35, so you're gonna hit it if you do your Thanksgiving meal. But any order over $35 is free delivery now until the end of the year.
Okay, so if you're using Instacart though, will it upcharge you a little bit?
So the delivery is free. You'll see some different differentials in pricing when you go on that website. We also, not free delivery, but we also are partnering with DoorDash. So a lot of people are avid DoorDashers, right? So you can actually go to the DoorDash website and you will now find Ruler Foods there as well. So that's another avenue. If you want to save a little on fuel, you can have it delivered to you.
Basically what you're saying is you can feed 10 people for $40, less than a tank of gas, and you're making it easier now than ever before. Because we got to meet people where they are right now.
Yes, 100%. And my splurge is, I don't like to do dishes. So, and a lot of times I'll look for sales on plasticware or prior to the holiday, right? Stock up, and then that's my splurge.
That's great. Thank you so much for the hot tips. This is really great.
This has been great, and happy Thanksgiving.
Yes, happy Thanksgiving. We love hot tips. By the way, though, we know that a lot of tables will be empty this year, so we want to help out. There are dozens of local groups in our area stepping up to fill in gaps for all the essentials. If you need help or if you'd like to lend a hand, just text the word food to 314-425-5355 and we'll send a complete list of organizations accepting donations and also passing out food. And finally, GameStop is becoming a swap meet, at least for one day. The gaming retailer is hosting a Trade Anything Day on December 6th, so mark your calendar. You can trade one item for store credit, and it could be anything, as long as it fits in a 20 by 20 by 20 inch box. There are some exclusions like hazardous waste, weapons, alcohol, and drugs. So just keep it clean, but keep it in that 20 by 20 by 20 box. That's going to do it for us. Thanks so much for watching Michelle and the Money. For more money stories like these, be sure to join me every day on Today in St. Louis starting at 5 a.m. We'll see you again next weekend right here on the 5+ app.